The National Judicial Council has recommended the Presiding Justice of the Court of Appeal, Enugu Division, Justice Joseph Oyewole, for appointment as a Justice of the Supreme Court, alongside 35 other candidates for various judicial offices nationwide. The recommendation was made at the Council's 110th meeting held on January 13, 2026, and presided over by the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Kudirat Kekere-Ekun. In a statement issued on Wednesday, the NJC said it approved 27 candidates for appointment as judges of high courts in 7 states: Borno, Niger, Benue, Taraba, Plateau, Delta and Ekiti, following what it described as a rigorous screening process involving public complaints, interviews and strict compliance with the 2023 revised NJC guidelines and procedural rules. The Council also recommended 6 Kadis for appointment to the Sharia Courts of Appeal in Niger, Taraba and Katsina states, as well as 2 judges for the Customary Court of Appeal in Delta State. These recommendations followed a rigorous screening process, including the consideration of public complaints and interviews conducted by a 7-member interview committee, in line with the 2023 revised NJC guidelines and procedural rules for the appointment of judicial officers, the statement read. Beyond appointments, the NJC extended the tenure of the acting Chief Judge of Imo State, Justice I. Agugua by 3 months, and urged the Imo State Governor to immediately commence the process of constituting the State Judicial Service Commission to pave the way for the appointment of a substantive Chief Judge. The Council stressed that the prompt appointment of a substantive Chief Judge was critical to judicial stability, independence and effective administration of justice in the state. In one of its most closely watched decisions, the NJC cleared the Chief Judge of Osun State, Hun. Justice Oyebola Ojo, of all allegations bordering on financial recklessness, diversion of funds and judicial misconduct. The Council said it adopted in full the report of a 3-member investigation committee constituted to probe multiple petitions against the Osun Chief Judge. The petitions were filed by the chairman of the Osun State chapter of the Judiciary Staff Union of Nigeria, Eludire Kunle, a staff member of the Osun Customary Court of Appeal and 3 others, the Speaker of the Osun State House of Assembly, RT. Hun, Adewale Egbediran, Temitope Fasina, and a joint petition by the Osun State Attorney-General, Hun. Jimi Bada, with 4 purported members of the State Judicial Service Commission. The petitioners alleged unilateral suspension of judiciary staff, selective promotion, stoppage of training programs, disobedience of court orders and misappropriation of funds, including an alleged diversion of 7.4 million nairas meant for judges and magistrates' retreat, 5 million nairas robe allowance and proceeds from e-affidavits. After hearing all parties and their witnesses, the committee ruled that the petition by the Attorney General and others was incompetent, as issues concerning their membership were already before a court. It further held that while the remaining petitioners had the locus standi to bring their complaints, the suspension of judiciary staff followed due process and did not amount to misconduct. The committee also found that matters of staff promotion and training fell within the statutory responsibilities of the State Judicial Service Commission and that there was no reminder that Justice Ojo diverted or personally benefited from any of the funds in question. The committee sat on several occasions. All parties were represented by counsel and called witnesses in support of their respective cases. The committee concluded that none of the allegations amounted to judicial misconduct or a breach of the revised Code of Conduct for Judicial Officers. Accordingly, it recommended that all the petitions be dismissed, a recommendation the Council accepted in full, the NJC stated. Similarly, the Council dismissed a petition against a Delta State High Court judge, Justice Gentu Timi, over a chieftaincy dispute in Idumuya Uboko, after the petitioner, Prince Mbanefo Nwoko, withdrew the case following the resolution of the dispute by the Delta State government. The NJC also reversed the one-year suspension without pay earlier imposed on Justice Jane Inyang of the Court of Appeal, Enugu Division, noting that the petition against him was filed outside the 6-month period stipulated by policy and that the decision complained of was already on appeal at the time. Out of 39 petitions reviewed by its preliminary complaints assessment committees, the Council dismissed 26 for lacking merit, ordered further investigation of 7, and cautioned 2 judicial officers, including one who delivered judgment outside the constitutional 90-day limit. The Council further set up a committee to consider a request for review by 9 dismissed judges of the Imo State Judiciary, while declining to entertain a fresh petition against the acting Chief Judge of the state. It also approved the voluntary retirement of Umar Ibrahim Abdullahi, acting Grand Qadi of the Plateau State Sharia Court of Appeal, and Hun. Justice Obientobara Awapele Daniel Kallio of the Court of Appeal, Asaba Division. The Council noted with regret that Abdullahi passed away shortly after submitting his notice of retirement. The NJC also announced the deaths of Justice Oluyemisi Adelaya of the FCT High Court and Justice U. Abdullahi of the Plateau State Sharia Court of Appeal, and extended condolences to their families and the Nigerian judiciary.